All right, welcome back to the show. It is June 2nd. Holy shit. How the hell did we get the June already? That's
I know.
insane. Anyways, I'm Nathan Creeps, joined by my co-host, Mr. Bryce Borscheller. If you're tuning in right now and you're looking for the interview with Mr. Rob Sand, go ahead and scoot about 20, 25 minutes into the episode. You'll find that interview with him. And everybody, chill out, okay? It's got
Yep.
nothing to do with politics. Everyone,
hmm
take a seat back, enjoy the interview. We're just talking about Mr. Sand, where he's from, what he enjoys about Iowa, what he thinks about
hmm
Iowa, some hidden gems in Iowa. It's just a couple Iowans talking to another Iowan. So
Yes.
again, if you're looking for that, let's go a little bit farther down in the episode. We're gonna have a little condensed episode with just Bryce and I today about, as I said, 20, 25 minutes. We're gonna be catching up about our weekends, getting a
Yep.
little bit into some Iowa news. But Bryce, it looks like you had yourself in a inventive weekend here, brother. You're all over the state, weren't you?
Yeah. Oh my God. Like summer hits, like we were talking about the last couple of weeks. We were ready for it, and I don't know if I am ready for it because I feel like my brain is just in a blender right now. We hit the pork tornadoes at the Sips and Sounds in Ankeny. Hit a Shane Gillis comedy show on Saturday night at Wells Fargo, one of the few remaining shows at Wells Fargo, because that'll be changing to the Casey Center here soon. And then helped my sister move on Sunday, just across town from Coralville to that south side of Iowa City in prime tailgate location. So we had a ton of things going on this weekend.
How was Shane Gillis?
Shane was awesome. I was kind of telling the group this morning, doing a little weekend debrief with some of the Emmas and the team on our side of things, and 90% white male heterosexual crowd. So if you know Shane, that's exactly what you're going to expect. A lot of Trump impressions, a lot of this and that. And if you like that, you like it. I think it's funny. I think he has a tasteful way of bringing some of these politics or just social issues into play, and it was awesome. Go ahead.
So I really didn't know anything about Shane Gillis until I saw him on College Game Day with like Pat
Uh-huh.
McAfee. I really didn't know much about him. So he's just famous strictly just becoming a comedian, right?
Yeah, I believe he started doing obviously small stand-up shows, but then he had a YouTube series where he started to blow up. And then obviously he makes appearances on Rogan and Kill Tony, and it's been blown up. He's now, even during the whole Bud Light fiasco, was drinking Bud Light. So now him and Post Malone, you'll see him in those Bud Light commercials. And he's exploded. I think you would like him. I think a lot of guys can relate to his stories. He's just kind of like a bro, like kind of guy you'd invite over to the garage, have a beer with.
I like fat guys with mustaches that are funny.
Yeah.
How do you not like
Yeah.
those type of people? But you also got to see the pork tornadoes. Is it safe to say that the pork tornadoes are the number one cover band in the state of Iowa?
I think it's hands down.
Not even
And
close, right?
I think I'd seen him one time at Sturgis Falls. Do you remember this?
I don't think I went that year. Or did I?
Okay,
I
so
can't remember.
I was trying to remember. I think it was the first year we ever did Sturgis Falls. And I remembered them doing a bunch of like classic rock, 70s, 80s, some Queen, Sting, all that kind of stuff. It was a totally different experience. Like these guys, one, they draw an enormous crowd. It was so packed. They filled up the entire amphitheater at Ankeny, and for good reason. They play Lord, Taylor Swift, Phil Collins. They'll do a throwback. They'll play Biggie. They played Juicy by Notorious B.I.G. Like they can kind of do it all. So yeah, totally super fun night. That whole Ankeny situation is like, I didn't even really know it existed, but I will be going back. That was really, really cool. And yes, I think hands down they're the biggest. They're everywhere.
You did not grow up correctly in Iowa if you didn't have the pork tornadoes or hairball performing at your county fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, everyone will. I don't even think you have to try. You will see hairball and pork tees at some point in your life if you go to live music in Iowa.
The freaking hairball, God. Hairball is just a knockoff version of Kiss.
Yes. Yep. And we saw them at the free stage at the state fair a couple of years ago, and that was my first time. Lots of pyrotechnics, and I thought it was fun. I like all that stuff, though, especially the early part of the summer when you've been cooped up for so long and you're dying to have a couple brews outside with some music playing. like I'm in for any kind of environment like that.
God, how'd you have time for all of this shit?
We didn't, and I don't think we're slowing down either. There's like it kind of feels like now Monday through Friday is like catch up time. Like get your work done because every weekend from here on out is going to be so busy.
How was
So
how was Iowa City?
Iowa City was great. I was dying to talk to you about this because
You were
you
there
and I have
Sunday? Yesterday,
yeah, we
right?
were there
Okay.
Sunday, so wildly hungover. Basically closed it down because after Pork Tees, it's silent disco. You're kind of hungover on Saturday morning, but we have to rally for the show at Wells Fargo, and we had to rally again, go right to Iowa City at 8 in the morning on Sunday. So I was a little hungover, but as soon as you get to that Coralville exit and you're about to turn onto either 380 or depends on which way you go, you start breathing that Iowa City air. And I know we've talked about this before, and it almost immediately cured my hangover. Drive right by Kinnick, drive right by Stella's, and it gets you so fired up. So I was really, really pumped to talk about just the hype leading into football season starting here in about 2 months.
Yeah, your soul just knows, right? When it gets
Uh-huh.
within the area. I live it every day when I drive by Iowa City. God, it's just a warm, cuddly feeling to it. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
I always preach, like, Nate, why don't you go to Iowa? Why don't you live in Iowa City? I'm like,
Yeah.
Iowa City is so majestic to me. I save
Mm-hmm.
it strictly for football season weekends. And that's why I want to get that buzz. If I live it every day, it's just not the same. So I
Yep.
totally understand where you're coming from. Did you guys get grub there anywhere?
We did. We ended up going down to the Ped Mall and doing Mickey's, which I've
Oh,
only ever
Mickey's
been for.
Irish little. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
a. Did you get a burger?
I did. Yeah,
Yep, the
yep.
classic burger
Actually,
there.
I got the Nashville hot chicken sandwich because I want to
Oh,
try
that's
something
good.
different. But I knew Darian was going to order a burger, so I had some of hers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. But I had really only ever drank there, so it was kind of fun to have
I,
food there. And
I've ate there once, and I'm sure I've made multiple appearances there just for drinking occasions. But was it busy this time of the year down there? I've only been there during the
actually,
school year.
the Ped Mall was surprisingly busy, and I don't I don't think there was anything going on. I think graduations are pretty much done, but yeah, there it was actually pretty full. And like for somehow, some way, it's always kind of difficult to park down by the Ped Mall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Iowa City has the worst parking in the country.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping it wasn't going to be that way, but we found our way, and it's just good. I so many good memories on the Ped Mall, and so many good memories in Iowa City in general. Just got me fired up
Yeah.
to tailgate. And the good news is, my sister and her boyfriend's new location is very close to where Mr. Berkey lived, so
Oh,
very very close to tailgate sections.
that was going to be my next question. Was you have a new place for you to crash
Yep.
out for weekend football?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to need it
Yep.
this year. Because they released the schedule and I don't know how many games you plan on going to, but they announced the first two freaking games at Kinnick are night games versus Albany
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
UMass. What
Yeah,
the hell are you doing?
yeah.
God,
You know,
is that the only problem I have with that is one, I miss great football all throughout the day because I'm tailgating, and
yep.
two, because they're having these early night games, are they going to take away night games from like the Oregon, Minnesota, or Penn State? Like, oh, we already had two, we can't do another. That at that point, if they start doing that bullshit,
Yeah.
I'm going to jail.
Uh-huh. And I saw this on Pat Mac on Friday, and they were bitching. Like AJ Hawk, obviously linebacker alumni from Ohio State, and Fox Big Noon has made like that's their game. So all the marquee games they want at noon, which to me makes no sense. Like why would you not want Ohio State at 7 p.m.
I hate
with
that.
that fan base? But no, I think the good news is the whiteout game for Penn State is Oregon when Oregon goes to the big or well, I'm blanking on their name, but Oregon will visit Penn State, and that will be their whiteout game.
Screw them. I care about who's our night games at Kinnick, man. But whatever. We'll get more into that when it comes closer to football season. I'm happy you survived that weekend. Yeah, say you're all over one day. You're at Shane Gillis, and then you're at Pork Tornadoes. I'm like, what? Now this guy's in Iowa City, man. You survived the trifecta. So shout out to you. But you're right, man. There is no weekend anymore. And I was just talking to my coworker about this. I went to Algona this weekend to go fishing with my nephews, and for my other one of my nephews, his birthday party too. So went up there to go fishing with them. Bought my license, and the second I bought my license and I had a fishing pole in my hand, if you were a fish, you were the safest fish in the country. We went 4 hours, 4 different locations, actually probably 5 hours 4 different locations, caught 3 total fish between my dad, myself, 2 of my nephews, and one of their friends, and I didn't catch a single fish. Had multiple worms
Damn, you got
thrown, but
completely snubbed, huh?
oh my god! And granted, Algona is not notorious for a great fishing location, but this what pisses me off. The second I leave Algona, I left that Saturday night to go home. Old devastated, didn't catch any fish. And I checked my nephew's Snap story. They have a river down in their backyard where they like to fish. They're catching northern
Yeah.
pike, catfish, carp, drilling them like decent sized fish all evening for the rest of the day. Oh my god, I had so many worms stolen from me. I'm so freaking pissed.
Oh, that sucks.
But
So they were there. They were just stealing the bait.
yeah, our first location was a river, and they were definitely stealing the bait. My dad caught like a tiny little catfish that big. That's the only thing we got out of that river. So that's when you know you're getting little fish that are just nibbling off your hook, no matter how
Yeah.
small that hook is, and there's find a way to extract that worm. But nope, they were safe. I made sure all the fish were safe, and it's probably gonna be the rest of that way for summer since I have my license now. God damn it! But here's the scary part, Bryce. After we got done fishing, went to my sister's. They're kind of getting ready for my oldest nephew's birthday party. He just turned 13. He's officially a teenager, so they're kind of setting up the place. I was playing him and basketball 1-on-1. And usually when I play him, I give maybe like 40 to 50% effort, and I win with ease. This is my first time playing him 1-on-1, probably 8 months, and they're doing all this AAU shit 24/7, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was eye opening.
Are they catching up to you?
Oh my god! So this time I played about 75% effort, and I lost by 4. And I'm like, what in the? And I was like huffing a puff, and like I said, I wasn't. If I wanted to, I could have drove every time, probably scored. But I like to take a couple steps in and hit some step back shots. Yeah, I couldn't stop them. They're doing reverse layups on me. They're playing with my other nephew. We played a 2-on-2 game, and their friend Elijah, who's really freaking quick and good. They're just great ball move. You can tell that this AAU shit they're doing 24/7 is making a freaking difference. We're complaining about it, like, yeah, you don't need to be doing that crap. Damn, yeah, these kids are gonna be good and scary. They're only 12, 13 years old, and fuck.
Yeah, it's truer words have never been said. I remember growing up pre-major AAU era, and doing a reverse layup was like Salem witch trials. It was like voodoo, and you were discouraged from doing anything crazy. I remember when Steph Curry started doing the floater, and we're way too old at this point. Like we're like 16, 17, 18. Like we're trying to learn how to do the Steph Curry floater in high school practice, right? Like maybe 2 times a week you have like a little coaching drill where they're throwing up like a big, thing to guard you. And I'm just like, man, where was this when I was like 12? Like where was this when I was learning the fundamentals? Because now these kids have an entire bag, and like you said, it's going to pay off.
Yeah, and like I said, I gave 75% effort, and I got my butt kind of handed to me. And the second I start giving 100% effort at my age, there goes my Achilles. Yeah. So it's just sad.
Did you get hurt, or you just you felt it kind of pulling on you?
Just after the game, I was huffing and puffing for my life. Like I just climbed that freaking mountain in Colorado. That's about it. I wasn't trying to jump too much because I knew my ankle would just shatter. Just walking around in general, bro, like the smallest rock will shatter my fragile little ankle. And I'm like, Madison's like, what the hell was that? She just on it. Yeah. I have some of the worst ankles in the state. Probably lead the state in sprained ankles through the.
No, you and Jeremy Young have the worst ankles I've ever seen. And 100%. There was a moment I was carrying a couch down the stairs and I twisted my ankle. I'm like, if that was Jeremy or Nate, that ankle would be gone for 6 months.
Made of straight glass, but no. Then we got back Sunday, and this was when you're freaking old again. Everything I do nowadays just reminds me I'm old, and that's what sucks about it. But clean out the entire house, power wash the side of the house. Mm-hmm. The wife went at it with the windows. I cleared out the garage, swept it all, cleaned the inside of my car, and I've never felt better about life at this moment. It's just clear cleansing of your living space and mentally for yourself. So got a lot of good things done around the house, and we're geared up for a big summer. It was kind of a spring cleaning, a little late on that, but we're ready.
Yeah, I feel like you guys needed that after the Colorado trip, just to get back weekend. Just, maybe even if you get snubbed in fishing, come back, clean everything up, feel good about the weekends because they're going to be coming in hot.
Yeah. Well,
what do you got? What do you got for the rest of June? Anything crazy?
Well, here it is. I'm trying to enjoy my summer evenings a little bit more when it's 75 and sunny out, but I can't with this freaking Canadian wildfires.
I know. I
Is
know. This is
is it every freaking year now? Them or Canada or them in Colorado just starting on freaking fire, and this is coming right to Iowa.
yeah. I don't know what it is, and I hate to say the GW word, but it makes me wonder. And my thing was, I don't remember growing up with Canadian wildfires every summer, but now it feels like it's almost the new normal. When I hear that on the news and then I see the haze kind of roll in, I'm not even like phased by it anymore. I'm kind of just used to it, but I don't remember this as a kid.
No, either do I. It was always sunny. You can see the sky. Now it's just that annoying little haze. This year's
Mm-hmm.
fire is not as bad as last year's. It would be like for 4 days you have the Canadian wildfire smoke over Iowa, then you get a couple of days
Mm-hmm.
off. Almost like the wind would shift directions, and then it would be back over you. So it was like an on and off thing last year, and there was like millions and millions of acres last year in Canada getting drilled, and like the smoke and the atmosphere was really thick. This year it's not quite as bad, but it's still just annoying. I want to look at the sky, I want to look at the sun, not
Yeah.
see a freaking haze and feel like I'm in a bubble or something.
Yeah. Well, it's there's a weird depressing feeling to it,
It
which
is, man. It's just like a gloomy morning on like a Monday morning type of feel.
mm-hmm.
Not quite as
Mm-hmm.
bad. It's God, if it's 75 and sunny, you're just so that I don't, it just it's annoying. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah.
Are they
I
ever
did
not
hear
going to be on
that.
fire up there? How many
I don't
what's left
know.
they
I don't
got?
to me, it's weird that it happens now. Like I thought it should be more like a dry season. Like why is it not happening in March when it's like windy and dry here? I don't understand how that works. To me, it should be like raining up there too. But yeah, I guess like you said, not as like maybe dense, and maybe this next storm like blows things over. But you got to get those clear skies for all these summer events. It just makes everything 10x better.
Yeah, but for the rest of June, I don't know if I got much going on. Kind of happy about that. Actually, I got an alumni golf tournament not this upcoming weekend, but the weekend after that. And really just golf tournaments. If I can find
Yeah.
one, my open schedule, June's usually the time of year I try to attack that because then you get the fourth, start getting some partying mode.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, by then I'm just a tad little bit sick of golf, but
Yeah.
golfing.
Yeah, this is the time to get in your golf rounds because I think July, August, and September, like we were even talking, what were we just talking about with September? Oh, all the tailgating. I don't know how many games we're going to be able to get there because all the weddings and the family trips. And I think this is the right time to get all the golf in because pretty soon it's going to be 4th of July, family trip, state fair, Scott and Dusty getting married. Like, just never ending weddings and family events, it feels like. So yeah, I hope to do the same.
We're gonna go into a little bit of Iowa news here. And Bryce, do you remember months ago we were talking about the great pizza ranch connoisseur that through the state of
Mm-hmm.
Iowa, this guy went and visited every single
Mm-hmm.
pizza ranch location in the state of Iowa and ate their buffet? And
Yes.
we talked about on the episode, we don't know where you are. We hope you're okay. Is this guy okay? Is he all right? Sure enough, I was checking our TikTok DMs, and that specific guy reached out to us, say, "Hey, I saw your guys' segment talking about me and my health. Just letting you guys know that I am okay, and I've never been healthier in life." So that was super
Okay.
reassuring. We have some closure to one of the
Mm-hmm.
greatest journeys missions ever completed throughout the state of Iowa. So no, he's doing good.
That's really good to hear. It makes you wonder when you do a food challenge like that. You know the toll it takes on your body, and to do it however many times over he did, it's very nice and reassuring to hear that he's doing fine.
Yeah, you got to be built
What
different
a
for
feat.
that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we also had those kids. I almost feel like he inspired a generation of kids to go out and compete too. We haven't had a ton more of submissions of people going out and trying to compete against the plate challenge, but there was a moment in time where I thought we might have started a snowball effect that we weren't going to be able to control. But it's good to know that
It's kind of a
you can
phase
still be
growing up
healthy.
in Iowa, a teenager, high school era. You just going to the Peach Ranch was a normal cause, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just going with your buddy, see how many plates you can put down. But now it's turned a little bit more competitive throughout the state. So it was a little scary to see which way we're going to lean forward. But it looks like that's come down to an end. And like I said, we do have closure with the Pizza Ranch guy that visited every single location. I want to hear. So this is really the only biggest news coming out of the state of Iowa. It sounds like Google is going to invest a $7 billion data center in Cedar Rapids. I have the story right here. The company is investing $7 billion into Iowa the next 2 years through the development of Cedar Rapids data center, as well as through the expansion of Council Bluffs facility. So, according to the press release from Google, the company's data centers are the backbone of its AI capabilities and digital
Mm-hmm.
services, including Google
Mm-hmm.
Cloud, Workspace, Search, YouTube's, and Maps. So great, we're gonna get even more enhanced images of AI. That's not good.
Yes,
This shit's tricking me so much. I can't take it anymore. It was cool right away. Now I'm
yeah.
starting to get concerned about it.
Well, I think it's scaring a lot of people,
It is.
and I have mixed feelings about it. I think it's funny. I think it's fun right now, but how quickly it's going, it's clearly going to make a massive impact. Probably a good thing, though. I think for jobs and economic development for Cedar Rapids, so that's probably a good thing. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. The whole AI thing is just going to get weirder and weirder.
I saw a video last night of a dog on a boat and like a whale like came up next to the
Mm-hmm.
boat, just like its mouth slightly above surface of the water, and the dog got on to the whale. And I sat there. Usually it takes me like 3 or 4 seconds. Like, oh, that's AI. This video, I'm
Yeah.
like, there's no way this is freaking happening, but it looked
Right.
so real. I think after
Uh huh.
like 2 minutes of looking at it, I finally determined it was AI. I think I kind of knew it was AI. I'm like, there's no way this dog got
Right.
a freaking whale, but that's how bad it's getting.
Yeah, and it's going to be like normal videos where you're just like it's so seamless. So you like where's the little moment, the hitch that makes you consider it, and we're just going to get fooled. The interesting thing, like the need for these warehouses, is I believe because every time you search on like ChatGPT or Grok or any of these like the Google Geo whatever that thing is, like it takes a certain amount of processing power. So every like stupid little question or prompt that you're giving that thing, it takes some storage unit or some warehouse to process that prompt.
And I think I know where this warehouse is. I think it's right off 380
Okay.
in Cedar Rapids. And I know that because obviously I drive it every day. But there was this huge warehouse driving. I'm like, what the fuck is this place going to be?
Yeah,
I just been trying to figure out for the last couple months. I think it's
that's got
Google.
to be
I think
it.
it's Google.
Yeah. Yeah. So interesting enough, I was talking to this guy at Caffrey's over here in Waukee. He does roofing for one of the bigger roofing companies in the Des Moines area, and he was showing me this app that he has that's like zoning and planning. And apparently, Apple owns a bunch of land in between like Adel, Dallas Center, and Waukee. And kind of like you said, it's not like a very good looking thing. So like I don't know if I love that Amazon and Google
No.
and Apple and all these people own these big plots of land right in the middle of Iowa just to basically put up like warehouses because it's not super visually appealing.
No, it's not. But yeah, I don't like that they're doing like near a Dale or anything like that. But if you could keep it
Mm-hmm.
around like the metros, like the two metros we have going on is
Mm-hmm.
obviously Des Moines and then Cedar Rapids. By the way, off topic here. In what year will Cedar Rapids finally connect to North Liberty?
Oh, 2014.
Huh?
Is there an answer?
No, what
Oh,
year?
when will it?
Yeah,
When will? Okay.
yeah.
Um, shit. I was gonna say like right now, like driving up north to 380, it almost feels like they are connected. Um, soon. I have no idea, but it
I do.
feels like now it almost feels like a seamless transition.
I'm watching it year by year, working in Cedar Rapids
Mm-hmm.
slowly expand south, and then obviously North Liberty is expanding north, and you got the little tiny like Swisher, Shoeyville in between. You know, that's all eventually going to be consumed by the two metros coming from the north and
Right.
the south, and then we're gonna have one giant metro, which is
Yeah.
I think is good for the state of Iowa. I really do. Des Moines gets a lot of attention. We
Mm-hmm.
need something else besides Des Moines to really lean on, and I
I
hopefully can
agree.
see Cedar Rapids turn in that direction. I think Cedar Rapids connecting with Iowa City in the year 2040 is it's
Not
gonna
out of the question.
no. So I think it's just gonna bring a lot more entertainment to this world, and then we can say we have two big cities in the state,
Mm-hmm.
but leave the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the small towns throughout the state alone.
Uh-huh.
We
I
need
know. Part of me is always going to be nostalgic for those long drives through the middle of nowhere. Um, I don't know if that's maybe I'll love it. I don't know, but part of me is always going to kind of miss the way it was. That's probably just the part of getting old. But yeah, I agree. I've even heard the same thing with Ankeny to Ames. I think at some point all that will be connected. Huxley and all those places are getting enveloped right now.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining in with Bryce and I here. Let's go ahead and move on our way to our interview with Rob Sand.
Let's do it. Today's guest is a father, bow hunter, former prosecutor, this current Iowa State auditor, and most importantly, a self-proclaimed pizza auditor. Welcome to the show, Mr. Sand.
Thanks for having me, Bryce. Thanks for having me, Nathan. Yeah,
Great.
pizza auditing. If
Yeah.
that was a job, I sign me up. Sign
Just an
me up.
incredible Twitter bio of just coming in with a bang. Super great to meet you. I don't think we've ever met in person. Obviously,
No,
been mutual followers in some regard on the social. So super fun to talk to you. And
absolutely.
congratulations on your recent announcement for Iowa State governor. You're
Yeah,
putting your name in the ring, and that's pretty exciting. So for the people who
yeah,
don't know you, can you explain kind of what you do now and where things are going from here?
yeah. You bet. Born and raised in Decorah. Spent 7 years at the Attorney General's office as the chief public corruption prosecutor there. If you guys remember oh my gosh, I don't even want to ask. How old are you?
29.
30. 30.
Okay, all right, all right.
Yeah.
We're not in dangerous territory yet. The guy that rigged all those lottery jackpots. A few years back, I ran the investigation and the prosecution that uncovered that. Um, and then hit the point as a prosecutor where I felt like I had learned a lot and I wanted to do something a little bit more positive. So decided to run for state auditor to create a government efficiency program, which we did. Uh, Effective enough that it got copied and down by the Mississippi state auditor down in Alabama. And found more misspent money in my first term than anyone else ever had. So ran for reelection in 22 and won. And then they took away some of our powers to find misspent money. So I said, well, not much point in being state auditor anymore. It's a lot of work to not have a lot of impact for Iowans. So better run for governor and try to get the office restored to what it once was.
Well, that's super exciting. I watched your campaign announcement, and maybe I'm too old or too young to remember this the lottery moment. But what was that about? Because that seemed like a really big story that I somehow missed.
Yeah. It's actually there's um, a documentary coming out maybe this afternoon, maybe
Oh, cool.
tomorrow. I'm going to like a some kind of a showing of it today, and I think maybe tomorrow's the release date. But and I should tell you, I should know what it's called, and I can't think of it right now because I wasn't very involved in making it. But if you Google, if listeners Google, like jackpot lottery scam, they can probably that'll probably pop up. They'll probably see promotions of it on social media over the next few days. You can follow me at Rob Sand IA unless it's TikTok, and then it's Rob Sand Iowa. But
Okay.
that that show will tell you a lot about the story. If you like to read books, I wrote a book about it called The Winning Ticket. But the short version is, and it can be so long, so I'll try to make it super short. A guy in Iowa whose job it was to write the program that would pick winning numbers for lottery tickets actually put a little bit of extra information in the code so that he could
Mm,
predict what the jackpot was going to be about once a year. And then with his brother and his best friend and some Bigfoot hunters, yes, actual Sasquatch believers, they would go out and like buy a winning ticket and claim it with somebody that was disconnected to him to get a little bit of distance in there and made their way off with millions of dollars over the years. Over a decade, actually. So,
crazy.
Colorado, yeah, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa. He's a
I
Texas native, so Texas was tied in too.
yeah, I've definitely heard of the story. I didn't know you were the one behind that. So
I'm the good guy, not the bad guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, appreciate
Yeah,
for
you
bringing
weren't
justice.
rigging the
Yeah.
election.
No,
Um,
no. But I'll say too, actually, the guy, the quote unquote bad guy, the guy that was running the scam, I got to know him pretty well as we were working on the prosecution and the investigation. Nice guy, just, a thief.
yeah, right.
Um,
Just
It's
stealing.
the
but
nice guys that can sneak behind the curtain
yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. Which movie was it? Where he's it's like an animated movie and he's like, just because we are bad guys does not mean we are a bad guy, you know.
Ooh, I
It's
don't
kind of like
know.
that for Eddie. He's not really a bad guy.
Just
Did a
just did
bad
a bad
thing.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
did a bad thing. There you go.
Rob, in this day and age, I've seen some of your commentary on Twitter, and we're gonna try and skip the identity politics and a lot of like the groundwork. If you
Yeah.
wanted to get out your whole mission statement for governor, we want to skip some of that and just kind of get to know you as a guy. We're gonna have
Love
some
that.
hard hitting questions, but more so just hope that we can kind of get to know you a little bit better, and hopefully the people that watch the show. Um,
I
Nate,
love
you
that.
want to kick us off with the first question?
Yeah, well, I do have a quick Iowa
Yeah, you go.
history here for fifth grade Iowa history, just to make sure I could trust you as an Iowan, Rob. But I do want to go back to you saying you're from Decorah, and for any listener that we've had on this podcast, they know that we are advocates,
Yep.
major loyalists towards Decorah. We just think it's one of
Hmm.
the most beautiful places in the state. But
Amen.
somewhere outside of Decorah, what are some of the most hidden gems? Maybe not highly talked about places in the state of Iowa that you know about, you love.
Sure. I mean, it's easy for us to get there here in Des Moines, where my wife and our two boys live, but we love going to Ledges. I mean, it's
Hmm.
pretty appreciated, but I don't know if it's appreciated enough. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, I also really like Makokata Caves
Hmm.
State Park. I think folks know about that one decently well. But I will tell you, from up in my neck of the woods, when I was growing up, we would always go over to Lansing, and we had literally like a tiny little floating cabin, like one tiny small room on oil drums on an island in the Wildlife Refuge up there. And that area and like the backwaters and the back channels there in the Mississippi is fantastic. And if you can get up to New Albin, New Albin is the most northeastern eastern spot in Almaquis, which is the most northeastern county in the state. And you go out and drive around in New Albin at sunrise, and you will think that you are on another planet. Like it's incredible.
That's the
Uh,
beauty. That's the beautiful part about northeastern Iowa. And my parents,
yes.
my in-laws are from New Hampton, so anytime we get to New Hampton, like, well, we're close
Oh
to
yeah.
Decorah. They go to
Yeah.
Lansing a lot, and
Hmm.
it is kind of like uncharted territory. And I drive for a living, and any day I get my routes up in northeast Iowa, my day is made. So
Yes.
I
Yeah,
love it.
absolutely. You just drive around out there and you're like, look at this is what God
Uh-huh.
made. It's
Yeah,
incredible, you
yeah.
know.
You
And
really
up
feel like you're
here
not in
too.
Iowa.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I mean, wherever you are, it's just it looks different than the rest of the state. And then there's some pieces over on Western Iowa too. Preparation Canyon, I feel like would definitely qualify for underappreciated. I don't think a lot of folks know about that spot. It might be the only place named as a canyon in the state of Iowa, but that's beautiful too.
Yeah,
Those
those
are
are
some.
those are great spots. I living in Des Moines now. Ledges is. I feel like the tourism groups in Des Moines have done a better job of kind of showcasing things you can do on the weekends if you don't want to go do the restaurant and bar scene. But yeah, I
Yep.
would agree. I feel like it was kind of underappreciated for a while, but now that's one of our main hiking spots, and probably you know you feel like the expert now. I just with the pizza or the fishing and the bow hunting seems like the right guy to ask for that kind of thing. But getting to the pizza,
Appreciate that.
to proclaim something as bold as pizza auditor, I'm going to hit
Yeah.
you with what is what's given you the credentials to be such a pizza auditor, and if you've gotten to this such great accreditation, what are some of your favorite pizza styles, and where do you like to go in the state?
Yeah, I might be giving myself too much credit on that one. But I also, if you guys called yourself a pizza auditor, I wouldn't tell you that you weren't,
Yeah,
like
fair.
to each their own. Let us all be pizza auditors together. Moment of unity.
I was
Yes,
once a
Um,
tenderloin auditor.
yes.
I
Nate
could
was a
I could
tenderloin guy.
I could get there too. Yeah.
That's a
Um,
that's a whole job itself.
so I gotta say, have you guys had on the guy that ate a tenderloin in every county?
We
What?
haven't yet, but I've been keeping
Oh, I don't know
track of
about
this
this.
guy. He is one of our premium guests to get on the show because I feel like he's got
Yeah.
some premium food knowledge.
Ping me when you get him in because I want to listen to that one for sure.
Okay, we'll do.
Um, So my favorite pizza is obviously being a Decorah native. Mabes is the first thing that comes out of my mouth. There
Yeah.
is nothing else I can possibly say. My high school buddies mostly worked there growing up. One of them is still doing delivery date on a regular basis. Um, there is so a lot of folks don't know this, but this is an interesting piece of trivia. There's a place called Leon's in Webster City. Um, and Leon is a relative actually of the White family that runs Mabes. And so their pizza is incredibly similar. So if you just are dying for a Mabes regular and you can't make it to Decorah, but you can get to Webster City, you can go into Leon's and say, I want a Mabes regular, and they know what you're asking for and they will make it
Oh,
for you. Um, and it tastes the same, very close to the same, a little bit different. So that's a great spot. I will then say, and again here, the name is failing me, but there is a pizza truck in Northwest Iowa around Lamar's.
okay.
It's like a food truck, but part of what they're towing is a literal brick oven.
Oh, that's awesome.
I couldn't stop eating the pizza. I was at an event up there and they were providing the food, and I must have eaten two pizzas.
Did they put Blue
It was
Bunny ice
mind
cream on
blowing.
it?
No, ice cream on pizza? Did I hear you right?
Yeah, Lamar's Blue Bunny.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. I'm smelling what you're stepping in.
No, I
That's a
can.
No.
good. That's a great phrase, and maybe the right one for that. And, to be fair, growing up as a Iowa native, if you didn't do a little Pizza Ranch cactus bread with ice cream, give that a shot. That was a move.
Yeah, that's a good combo.
Yeah, but definitely
But
shout
no,
out the Mabes. That's my favorite.
yeah, whatever the pizza truck is with the brick oven in and around Lamar's area, you got to do it.
Rob, we're gonna test your knowledge here to make sure I can trust you as running for governor here. We all took a
All
class
right.
called Iowa history back in about fifth grade. Rob, three questions for you here. First one: what is the state rock of Iowa?
Geode,
Correct. Number
Tough
two:
one.
what is the state bird?
goldfinch.
Very good.
Correct. And three, Rob, how many counties does Iowa have?
Oh, well, 99.
And of those 99 counties, what is the largest?
Square mileage, Kasuth County.
Congratulations, you knocked that out. Rob, I'm from
Hey, thank
Kasuth
you.
County, and I do ask
Oh,
one
all
thing.
right.
If you get elected as our next governor, please do not dissect that county into two to make it a square 100 counties in the state of Iowa. Because
I promise
if,
you I will not do that.
if you see on X or Twitter, maybe once or twice a year, not just from the state of Iowa, but from accounts
Hmm.
outside, like national accounts petitioning for
Yeah.
this monstrosity to move Kasuth County into two counties so we can have an even 100. It's the proudest
Yeah.
thing I have about growing up in Kasuth County. We are the biggest. We are the largest. Please maintain it that way.
That is your history. I will maintain it that way. I've got a little bit of Iowa trivia for you guys.
Okay.
There's one county that has two county seats. Which is it?
Lee County down in southeast Iowa.
Boom.
I
Look at
didn't know that.
us. All these answers.
Yeah.
Everybody knows we're not asking ChatGPT
Uh huh.
on both ends here, just
Uh huh.
lickety split.
Yes.
So I
The
do.
the common knowledge is a rare talent these days. Everyone can have the little cheat
That's
code, just
right.
touch of a finger.
That's right. That's right. So a lot of folks doing what I do the 99 county tour, and I do the 100 town hall tour because I do a town hall in both county seats in Lee County, and that way I can say I'm the hardest working elected official in the state of Iowa
Love that.
because I'm doing
That's
one
awesome.
more than everybody else. Yeah, bad jokes also a rite of passage for the state of Iowa.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we're experts in the bad joke department. I think just you got to have some common ground with the common man. Okay,
Yeah.
here's one that Nate's been hitting me with. One of my favorite news segments we've been doing. Who would you most want to have a beer with? We are going to do a weekly segment with three options, and at the end of this whole thing, we're going to invite our very favorite guest to have a beer with us at a brewery of their choosing. Beers on
Oh,
us. So this week's segment's going to be a tough one. Uh, Lots of Iowa legends. Which Iowan would you rather have a beer with, Mr. Sand? A. Grant Wood. B. John Wayne. Or C. Jason Momoa.
uh, definitely John Wayne for two reasons. I mean, well, three reasons. Number one, he's the Duke. Like,
Yes. Yep.
I would love to have had the chance to meet him. Number two, I actually briefly met Jason Momoa at the Waveland Cafe in Des Moines. I got a picture taken with him, and it broke the Iowa internet, if you
Mm-hmm.
will. We just titled it Aquaman and Audit Man. So that was a fun moment. I will say, crazy number of female acquaintances and friends texted me to ask me what he smelled like.
Okay, interesting. And what was the
Yep,
answer?
that was. I didn't notice anything in particular. It's just a
Okay.
fascinating moment for me to have all this incoming with that question. It's
Yeah.
like I didn't notice anything in particular. Sorry.
I don't know about you, but
Um,
when I meet somebody for the first time, I don't intrinsically just want to sniff. So,
no, thank you.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
why that was.
Yeah.
That's why that really sticks out. I was just like, huh, that's nothing
That's
I've ever
Jason
thought of
Momoa
in
though.
meeting anyone.
I kind of want to. I kind of want to smell it.
Apparently.
I'll be honest.
Well,
I'd be
now
willing
I'm
to take.
curious. Yeah. Now I want to know.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Um, and look, I respect Grant Wood, but I think definitely John Wayne would be a more interesting guy to get the beer with.
I think that's a good choice. Obviously, the point of that segment is to eventually invite somebody. Obviously, if you've gone before us and you're now deceased, that's going to be tough. And I did throw that Jason Momoa caveat in there because I did
Oh
see that
yeah.
on your socials.
We were hoping
All
you would
right.
tell us
All
what he
right.
smelled like. That's why we
You could
asked.
always invite John Wayne. It's just going to be harder to know if he shows up. That's
Yes,
all.
yes, right.
Or where to send that, how to send it.
Right, Rob. Here at Iowa Chill, and especially the Iowa Chill Show, we take pride in growing up in Iowa. We take pride in living in Iowa. We really believe it is the best state for us personally to live in. And we always talk about when we go on vacation, the best part of vacation is coming back home to Iowa.
Coming home. Yeah.
We love it here. And if you're selling Iowa to an outsider, how would you go about?
That's a great question because I actually have really pushed friends from elsewhere to come here. And in fact, I want to tell you, answer that question with a story. There was a point, probably, well, I don't know when it was. It was more than 15 years ago, where I was living in Des Moines, or maybe I was living in Iowa City, going to law school, and I had three friends that were driving cross country, and they were like, "Hey, we're going to be passing through Iowa," and I said, because they were coming in on 80,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Look, you can drive through Iowa many times. It's a lovely state. I have lots of recommendations if you want to stop in Iowa City or Des Moines. But this is what you should do. You should come up to Decorah. I want to show you small town Iowa because you
Hmm.
can, if you're driving through, you can always stop in Des Moines. Maybe you can stop in Iowa City. But I want to show you small town Iowa. I want to show you a place that is special to me, but I want you to see it with someone who's from there, as
Hmm.
opposed to just sort of like being in a small town where, okay, here it is, you can see what it is, but I want to tell you about it. I want to show you everything. I want you to meet people. And these are three people who are not from the Midwest. And so I wanted them to get an understanding of like uh, of my world, of my upbringing. And so they ended up and I said, like, this is your one chance.
Right.
You can come see a small town in Iowa on this trip with someone who is born and raised there and who can really let you in a way that you might not ever have a chance to do again. And they were like, "All right, we'll do it." And this was kind of a big deal because it was a big detour for them. But they came up to Decorah. We did everything that you could do up there. Showed them Dunning Springs, took a hike around Twin Springs, ate some Mabe's pizza, uh, watched the stars, went up to Phelps Park and Palisades and walked around downtown. It was their favorite part of their entire road trip across the United States.
Yeah.
And that's my pitch to people is if you can get an opportunity to see a small town with someone who is from there and get an understanding of just the sense of community that people have and the sense of pride they have, it lets you in on a world that I think a lot of people don't have a chance to really understand.
Totally agree. Yeah, Nate just got back from Colorado, and I went out to Salt Lake City last September, and we both had the chance to visit those respective spots with family in town. And it brings you into the community. It shows you why they're so passionate, and I feel like that's the misrepresented part of Iowa is that not everyone that comes here gets to have that experience. So that's pretty cool. Out of respect for your time, I know that we're kind of getting close to your deadline. We'll hit you with one or two rapid fire questions.
Sure.
Do you call it walking taco or taco in a bag?
We call it the walking taco in this house, but I respect the taco in a bag.
Okay.
It's
I'm a
not like
taco in a bag
pop.
guy.
It's not like pop versus soda. You call it soda, like get out of here. It's
Yeah,
pop.
I,
well, my fighting
100%.
phrase is if you're eating a hot dog and you're walking around, you call it a walking hot dog. Then why don't you call everything you walk?
I, I respect. I
That's a
respect that.
tough
I
argument.
respect that.
Casey's or Quick Star?
Casey's
Okay.
every day, twice on Sunday.
Well, with that, Rob, I think we wrap up the interview. I hope anyone
All right,
that
guys.
met you for this brief amount of time has a deeper appreciation for the Decorah area. We definitely we hit that hard,
Amen.
and super nice to meet you finally virtually.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys too.